Okay, this is a review I've been trying to do for a while on the Maurice Lacroix Masterchrono. The reference number is MP6348-Ss001-12E. This is a rebuy, or buyback, whatever you want to call it. I used to own this watch about 5 years ago, and it's probably one of the best watches I've ever owned, and I'll get into that why and when I bought this back. And first off, let's go over the dimensions. Let's see here. It is 43 millimeters in diameter, from 8 to 2. Usually it's a good way to measure, but this round here is about 43. However, if you notice from the case shape, the bottom is actually, it kind of bowls down, and you actually get a footprint closer to like 40 on the wrist. So I mean, it's interesting. It wears kind of closer to a 40 than there's a 43. Additionally, it curves a bit, so it sinks in to your wrist. So it does feel a little bit smaller than that, but it's definitely has wrist presence, but I don't think overly. Anyways, the lug space is 21 millimeters, and I believe the lug to lug is about 50. Let me check something. Okay, the lug to lug is about 50, and that's from end to end. However, if you notice where the spring bars are at, it's quite close to the body, and you really get a lug-to-lug fitment of about, I believe I measured this to be about 44, maybe 45, where the spring bars pivot down. So this is actually where your wrist is going to fit, and so you can see it curves. It doesn't start curving down from the very ends of the 50 like some watches do. It actually starts curving in closer into the body more, so it gets a really good fit, and you can see the lugs curve down really, really good. And the thickness, if I measured it right, it's just about 15 or just under 16. That's including this double dome crystal. And I believe this tapers down to 16. 18, I guess. Looks like it's about 18. So the 21 tapers down to about an 18. And let's see. So those are the dimensions. And let's go over. Let's see here. It's 100 meters water resistant, and it has a ML caliber 67, which beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it's 26 dual movement. Basically, it's a 7750, a Valjoux 7750 movement, but it's not just a Valjoux 7750 movement, and I'll explain that more in a bit. And you get sapphire crystal. This is hand ground, and it's really nicely done. It's super clear. As you can see, it almost looks invisible in most angles, a lot of angles. Like, you can see right through it really clearly, which is good because this dial has a lot of detail to it. And there's a tachymeter scale on the outside, and date, obviously, and running seconds right there. But the chronometer seconds is this main hand, this thin one right in the middle. And you got the chronometer minute counter up to 30, and then this counts off every hour. It's up to 12 hours. So if this goes twice, you'll get 1 tick, and obviously 4 times it goes to 2 hours, and so forth. And the dial, since we're on this, it's got applied logo right there, really nice, and it's printed too. I like how it says it in French, actually. Chronograph, automatique. Sorry if I butchered any French pronunciation. I took Spanish in high school for the most part. Anyways, and let's talk about the dial for a bit. This is, you can see, it's not this. The main dial in the center here. It's actually brushed vertically. Can make that out. Some lighting, and sorry about the fluorescent lighting above. This is I can only do this at work right now. Hopefully before my boss shows up. Anyways, and it's actually made out of actual silver. It's not stainless steel. It's made out of I guess you consider silver a precious metal, and it has a different luster and shine to it than I think stainless steel does, which is the main body of this watch. It's definitely more evident in person, I think. It's got a deeper kind of sheen to it, I guess. It's really nice. I forget what kind of steel it is. I wrote it down somewhere. But anyways, just know that it's it's a silver, actually silver dial. Oh, here it is, solid 925 silver. And it's a sandwich dial, so you see the Arabic numerals. They're kind of stenciled. They are actually black underneath, which is pretty neat. So I think it's nicely done. It's in a font that you don't usually see too. And that's the thing about this. There's a lot of stuff in here that you can say, oh, it's just 7750 automatic chronograph, yada yada yada. It's that's who hasn't seen one of those? But I don't think you've seen one quite like this style. And we'll go over this a little bit more detail. And this is stainless steel. At least it should be. The sub-seconds. Maybe it is silver. I'm not actually sure. But it's also got a vertical brushing, and as you can see, this is what I like about it. It's got a unique, it's got a very unique way of showing the seconds. It's a disc cut out with the pointer, so you actually see through the disc into the subdial below, which shows the seconds. And it's not that hard to read, really. You just have to look right through it, and you'll see that where the seconds is. It's coming up on obviously 30 right there, and we'll just show you when it hits. It's every 10 that you'll see a number. Here's 40, and so forth. And you got a fine minute scale in the black around, and you can see it's at an angle too. So there's lots of interesting surface details. Tachymeter is one level, then it kind of drops down to the minute track, and then it kind of raises up a bit, and then you have the main silver disc dial, and then you can see around each of the subdials there's like this fine track that actually goes down. It's stepped. It's really, and then it drops into the subdial, and then this one kind of pops back up because of this disc that's floating around there that spins around for the seconds. And you can see the date window is nicely framed, and it's separated, so you don't just have like a line that would probably separate the two discs for the day and date. So that's a nice way to cover it up, and just frames it up all nicely. And you can see it's actually step 2. Let's see if I can get that. See that? Well, a little bit. It's got a little extra edge to the. It's probably not exactly stepped, but it's really nicely done. And the hands are brushed, or they actually sorry, they're high polished. And there's lume on the hour and minute hands, and the subdials for the minute and hour for the chronograph. And that's pretty much it. It's a really nice dial, and these are unique pushers. I think you don't see these common style anywhere, so that's another unique feature. I mean, just this whole layout is very unique and stylish, but I think it's done really well. So just push down, and it just goes. So I think there's just like that, and then obviously it will just snap back to 0. It does it perfectly. And that's pretty much it. And then actually there are little loom pips or dots or squares, you want to call it, right at each hour as well. I forgot to mention. But this is no loom monster. The hands are probably the strongest parts, and obviously those are such small applications. It's a little bit weak. But you get some decent loom from this. This C1, I guess. It's just Super Luminova. It's not. Don't expect it to be like Luma Bright from Seiko, but even though the hour markers might fade overnight in the dark a little bit sooner, these hands have a decent amount of application that lasts for a reasonable while, and at least you have these to orientate you on what's the center axis. You know, the subdials here with the loom. So if you see that, then you know that's basically 12 to 6, and then you can figure out generally what your time is. I don't think anyone who knows how to read an analog watch will recognize where the hand positions represent. I don't think it's that much of a mystery. And the case is very unique. It's kind of got this, I guess, bowl shape is what I would describe it. And yeah, and this crown is signed, engraved, and it's got this nice this kind of unique texture for the grip. And what's neat about this is that all you need is just a quarter turn and it pops out, and that's how you lock it too, and that's gets you 100 meters water resistance, just like that. And so it's pretty good wind, as any valve juice would be, maybe better, and because Maurice Lacroix does do their own thing here. So anyways, let me get this back. So the easiest way, see how this is a little bit thicker here? This is like an angle. You see that? It's not the same. That's how you know to line it up with the case, and that's where it drops in, and you just do a quarter turn, and then that's it. It's lined up, and that's all you need. So it's real quick. One quarter turn out, quarter turn back in, and it gives you an indicator right there, that line where to set it in and turn it, and that's it. And let's go over all the details. It's got alligator skin, genuine alligator strap, and as you'll notice, it tapers not only from 21 down to 18, but see how it's padded and it thins on both sides, and I think that's pretty cool. And I think I believe that's probably a good indicator of level of craftsmanship, at least on the leather strap. It's not just a consistent thickness throughout. It takes something to just kind of neatly taper it down, right? So that way you got a decent strap thickness up at the lugs, because you know it is a semi-beefy watch, holding a 7750 movement in there basically, but it tapers down to make it more elegant. And also additionally, the way the strap system is that it goes through here. So let's see, I want to set it what was I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. So that way you slip it right through here. It goes through nicely, and then see, where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right about there, I think. This was my hole that I had it set to. And what's neat about this is that it just tapers underneath the wrist, and it keeps the strap overall looking very clean. Right, so you put this in here, right? Snaps with a nice sign buckle. Yes, got a little, I don't know, this is considered an applique or something, applied logo or not, maybe it's engraved too. And it won't go undone with when you have to actually push both to undo it. So it's very secure, and so everything's clean. You don't get an extra keeper you got to run through, and another, usually a second one that goes around here that can often get loose. You don't have that. It just tucks neatly underneath the wrist, and it's all clean all the way around. So you never have to worry about these keepers breaking or coming loose, and it just gives a cleaner appearance overall on the outside, which is good, you know, on both sides. And that's a nice attention to detail. Okay, and let me just double check this. I probably have it set to 1 notch too tight. Let's back it up to the 4th one. And yeah, and it got even a logo on the inside here, which is kind of nuts, because usually they only bother with one here, so they put the attention to detail here. And this is I believe a proprietary strap system or buckle clasp. And lastly, I guess to finish this off, in the back, here's the movement. Display case back, very nice. And of course, usually right, you get that rotor spinning pretty good. It's unidirectional, I believe, because it's a 7750, but I don't really care. It's really good. I kind of like what they call the wobble. You can kind of feel it on the wrist, and even now, it just gives you some people say, oh, you shouldn't feel the movement, but I like some that I don't mind either way. But you know, if you feel it, it's like, okay, well, you know it's working, and it feels more like a machine's on your wrist too. And you can see it's beautifully decorated, and that's gets me to a point. Maurice Lacroix in their Masterpiece series, everything is done in-house and practically, well, I wouldn't say all handmade, but this case is uniquely designed, and everything's assembled there, and the movements too. They have their own caliber movements, but they've been known to take like a lot of ETA movements, Swiss ETAs, and modify them. They've done so with a Unitas movement, you know, manually wound, and done some modifications to make some of their some of their Masterpiece lines, and to fit with the design and configuration of the watch. And again, even though this is 7750, as I understand it, they either get the parts and assemble it in-house, or somehow, I wouldn't doubt it, they have a way to manufacture. Basically, they have a blueprint or the construction files or whatever to manufacture all the components in-house. Either way, the movement is assembled in-house, and so it's not just something that's bought and just dropped in. And as they do it, they hand finish it. Whether it's hand finished or not, I'm not 100% sure, but they do finish it. It's rhodium plated as well, and you got blued screws and custom rotor, and it's a beautifully decorated movement. What you're getting here, and on top of that, all their Masterpiece series, as far as I know, most of them are, including this, will be balanced to 5 positions at full power. And then 24 hours later, they'll bounce it again 5 times, in 5 positions rather. So it's very accurate. And then I think I've proven this in a video, or rather an update, after wearing this watch for 2 weeks in a row. Just over 2 weeks, 14 days. This only gained a total of plus 10 seconds for that whole 14 days, or 2 weeks. Which is pretty damn good. It's been one of the most accurate watches, and I believe the same watch that I had before performed as much, because I vaguely remember that I think I wore it for a month straight for the most part, and at the end of the month, I think it gained about 20 seconds. It was definitely under 30 seconds for the whole month, and that's freaking awesome. This is probably the most accurate watch I have. It's not COSC certified, but it might as well be. But frankly, I think for these watches that they have, I think they go as high as around 10,000-ish, and they keep it under. That's the top of the line, and you get a lot for that, and I'll show you in a moment. It's not bad. This was supposedly retails for about 8,000, which I think is a bit high. No one ever pays those MSRP prices, anyways. And I've seen them. I think originally I might have bought this for about 3 or 2,500, or between 2 and 3,000. And then recently I actually got this back for about a little over 1,000, which is great. I mean, I didn't get the box and papers, unfortunately, and it is a bit used and worn, so you can see there's some scratches here and there. But I mean, this watch is at least 5 years old, and who knows how much. I'm not even sure exactly when the original manufacture date is, but it still has nice finishing still. It's like any good used. It's not quite vintage, but any good watch, you're gonna get some wear on it if you love it and you wear it a lot. But it's not too bad. These are something I can live with. There's some high polished bits right here. It's just the attention to detail is really good, and the finishing actually, especially if it was brand new. But I digress. So yeah, everything's in-house and super accurate. I don't think anything really has to be cost certified or beyond that. It's good, but even me regulating, maybe not balancing, but at least regulating a Seiko watch, or something with a NH30 movement or so, 35, 36 movement, or anything related to that, even a Miyota, even an ETA watch that I can press open. I can just regulate myself to be pretty accurate. Not as accurate as this because it's completely balanced, but maybe between +2 or +4 seconds a day, or maybe -2 at most, and that's still pretty good. But this goes beyond that. I mean, this was 2 or 4 seconds a day for 2 weeks, 14 days. That'd be quite a bit off compared to this. So anyways, this is a great watch though. Where can I go with this? Oh yeah, so I think one thing that separates Maurice Lacroix, at least on Masterpiece line, is what they do with the seconds. It's something, I mean, overall the design is semi-avant-garde. This is actually one of the more conservative masterpieces, and I'll show you some of their other ones. But they do something unique with their seconds. Not always, but that's been a trademark. So this is one way to display it, and I'll show you on their website. And there's a line. I really don't care much for these. This is kind of okay as a dress watch, the classique. Pontos is generally considered pretty good, but Masterpiece is where you want to be if you're going to go Maurice Lacroix. And so I go here, and you can see what they have. Mine is definitely not on there anymore, but this has been around for a while, I think. This moon phase, and it's retrograde, it's pretty cool. And the mysterious seconds, as you see here, this is pretty crazy. It's skeletonized too, and this is what I mean by unique seconds. Look, check out this. You got to see how this thing moves. I don't know if they have a video on here. Let's see if I discover the collection. Maybe. No. But if you let's look up this on YouTube. You can see how crazy this thing moves. If it rotates here and it goes all the way around. I don't even know how they do that still without. There's obviously a layer here too that's between the second hand, the mechanism, and the back. So I have no idea how the hell they do that. Pretty amazing. That's why it's mysterious seconds. And this is kind of neat, the skeleton. And I like their chronographs. They don't have the one where it's solid. I don't think anymore. Look that up too. The Le Chronographe, I think is what it's called actually. But it's basically, it's got a bicompact design, similar to that. But it's not skeletonized, so it's a lot easier to read actually. It looks pretty cool. It's got like these unique kind of cutouts in the disc too, and it's something different. Let's see. You can see the design language is all related, with the case at least. And These are pretty nice too. The gravity, that's probably their highest one right now. They come in different executions, different colors, but you know, it's really nice the way it's done. Definitely looks like something you could spend easily twice as much, if more, from like something from Glassoots or you know, one of those high horology brands. And yeah, so they don't have it. Let me see if I have it. I was going to show you if they still have the square wheel. Here we go. See, this is pretty cool too. It's not for everyone, but it has a unique way of displaying the seconds. Points cut on this big, larger cutout in the square, and this rotates around this tri-wheel, I guess what you would call it. It's pretty cool if you actually see this in motion. So look up the square wheel on YouTube to see like a video on how that looks and works. And these are that's just something I'm saying, that you know, they do something interesting with the seconds hands. Let's see, the gravity, that's those two. And there's another square one with some texturing. I don't know, these are some nice watches. But going back to this watch before it gets too long and the box gets in. Yeah, this has been a very enjoyable watch. It wears well. I think it wears slimmer than a bit slimmer than profile might initially suggest. Back here, front. Overall, it's a nice design, and it looks great on a mesh bracelet. I tried it on some rally style straps with the perforations, two different kinds. Check it out on Facebook. I've done a couple of posts on those. One on a kind of a brown with smaller perforations, and a black one with like a blue stitching with a little bit larger ones, and they look great. It looks great on both of them. It really brings out a motorsport kind of feel, very kind of high end. I'm not saying this is a Parmigiani, but it kind of gives me that semi feeling. You know how they have some of their motorsports watches, and it's really high end. It looks very high end, like luxury sports kind of watch, not like a tool sports watch like this. You know what I mean? And it gives that feel, especially when you put on a good rally strap. It brings that out. And I wish I could get the bracelet for it. It's rather unique as well. I've never seen links the way it's been done on this one. There is a version that comes with it, but I've never been able to find it. And I've contacted Maurice Lacroix about getting the bracelet for this, but they haven't gotten back to me, and I kind of doubt that they'll have it because it's been out of production for some time. But it's been running great. So the beauty of this is that at its core, it's basically a 7/750 movement. So that should be a relatively common automatic chronograph movement to be serviced. Although, because of the way it's decorated, chances are you'd probably be better if you could send it back to Maurice Lacroix to have them do it. In case anything does need to be replaced, you'll get the right parts, especially if it's been decorated to match. But you know, if you just want to get it working, and it wouldn't be hard to just maintain it, you know, with whatever parts if it needs to be. But these are very well maintained, and I don't know if any jewelers will have a wrench that will open this. You see how this is very unique too, this case back, the way this locks in. So that might be a bit tricky. And you probably best send it back to Maurice Lacroix. But yeah, this is a great Swiss brand. Very little people know about it, I think. And definitely the Masterpiece deserves some recognition. It's very well crafted, solid, great attention to details, and I think they have a unique design language that it's not copied anywhere, as you can see from the website too, of their other watches. Some of them, the entry-level stuff is, for me, it's not that as impressive. I go with the Masterpiece if you can. It's just built better, and for what you get, it's quite good. I can't complain. Although I think most of the watches, because they share the same case design, they're going to be about the 43. So it's not crazy large, really. And I think for modern standards, it's about as large as you want to go and still be okay and get away with it with some decent wrist presence on most wrists. My wrist is about just over 6 3/4, but maybe it's just shy of 7. I'd say 6.875, but that varies depending on whether my wrist expands or not. But it still works great for that because it has such a tight lug to lug, actually. Then the lugs might even suggest, and they're not really even that long, they curve down really good. So that's about it. I hope this gives you a good idea. I mean, I might be selling this to get something else. I know this was a buyback, and I thought I was going to keep this, and I might still. I don't know. Hit me up if you're interested. I'm trying to sell it for about $1,000, which is still very fair for very well balanced movement, and decorated at that, and a very unique design, and something different, you know. So you're not gonna have a lot of people that have this, and it's a neat, panda design, and I call this a brushed silver panda design because it is. And I think it's done really nicely, and I think you'll get compliments on this. It is a pretty striking watch. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.